Welcome to The Dealer Speaks. I'm Leslie Allen. We're just outside San Diego, California in El Cajon, the home of De La Fuente Cadillac. You know, there are two towering figures at this dealership. One is a 100-pound American flag flying some 200 feet above the city. The other, well, it's this man, Rocky De La Fuente, also known as Rocky. He's a longtime dealer with a knack for challenging the status quo and fighting the establishment. And now he has his eye on the highest office in the land, President of the United States. Okay, even if it is a long shot, this 61-year-old is diving into the presidential race with both feet. He's stomping for votes in Iowa and already has his name on the primary ballot in at least 3 states. Rocky De La Fuente is running as a conservative Democrat, pushing issues such as reducing homelessness and creating jobs. And from his point of view, one of the best ways to prepare for the Oval Office, run a dealership.
I don't care about Harvard. I don't care about Stanford. The best university in the world is an automobile dealership. You basically learn everything,
including how to fight, but more on that later.
Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
De La Fuente has an energy that leaves staff members scrambling to keep up. On the day we visited the store, he climbed aboard the base of the flagpole and proceeded to direct his own photo shoot, hanging t-shirts, arranging a display of red, white, and blue Cadillacs, and riding on a forklift borrowed from the RV dealership next door, just to give his photographer a more dramatic shot. And speaking of drama, assuming authorities haven't removed it by now, if you travel San Diego's Interstate 8, you may just spot Rocky's version of the Hollywood sign along the hillside. But all gimmicks aside, De La Fuente is dead serious about this campaign.
I'm running for president, and I think with your help, with the automobile dealers, with their employees, I'm going to make a good president.
Ironically, his reason for running has a lot to do with Republican candidate Donald Trump. Like De La Fuente, Trump and ex-Hewlett-Packard CEO Carly Fiorina are political outsiders from the world of business.
We have to build a wall, folks.
But as a Mexican-American, De La Fuente criticizes Trump for his immigration policies, such as his pledge to build a wall along the U.S.-Mexican border.
If it wasn't for him, I would not be in this race. I saw him. We, America, deserve better. And we don't need Hillary either. What did she accomplish as Secretary of State? What did she accomplish as First Lady? We're in the same mess that we have for the last 30 years. What are we going to do? Put her in office for 8 more years?
De La Fuente recently got a chance to hobnob with another Rocky, actor Sylvester Stallone. And like his movie counterpart, this underdog is not afraid to go a few rounds. That giant flag, for instance, it took a 10-year fight with City Hall.
I'm very proud. This is an accomplishment. They hopefully will be here for eternity.
Now, De La Fuente may be best known around San Diego as a real estate tycoon, land developer, and an ex-banker, and as a man who knows his way around a courtroom. Last month, he won a multi-million-dollar settlement in a land dispute with the city of San Diego. The case had dragged on for 29 years. He's also sued General Motors several times. He sued in the 1980s, alleging that GM was not paying warranty claims for defective diesel engines.
I took him to small claims, one at a time.
A total of 17 times before the two sides settled. Years later, during GM's bankruptcy, the Cadillac store was on a list of dealerships slated to close. De La Fuente watched as one friend after another lost their franchises. He hired a, quote, bulldog of a lawyer and sued one more time.
So all of a sudden, I get a beautiful letter from General Motors saying, we changed our mind. We ain't going to take your franchise away. Folks, they didn't change their mind. I earned it the old-fashioned way. I defended myself like I'm going to defend this country.
You could say selling cars is in De La Fuente's blood. He hails from a line of car dealers. His grandfather sold Buicks in Mexico, and his father was one of the first Volkswagen dealers in San Diego County. De La Fuente was still a student when he went to work in his father's store in the late 1960s and early 1970s. But as often happens in families, tensions arose.
One thing led to another one, and me and my father bump heads. He's the smartest person I have ever met. But unfortunately, when you have two alphas and two strong people with the same first name, same last name, sometimes something has to budge. Well, I budged, and I basically was fired. No rhyme or reason, it's just because I was disrespectful to my father. And my father was probably correct. I say probably because I still have it deeply rooted in me. But later we became the best friends for life.
The junior De La Fuente set out on his own, first working at a Mazda store, then at one of the first Toyota dealerships in the U.S. He says that's where he earned his stripes. While veteran salesmen handled the popular cars, he moved a product nobody else could sell.
The 1974 Chinook. Now, does anybody remember Chinook? Yes, it was a pickup truck, and they put a camper on top of it. And you could not give them away.
De La Fuente soon went back to his dad's VW store and got busy adding franchises. At one point, he operated 24 simultaneously. A recession hit in the early 1980s, and with most of his franchises losing money, he began to sell.
I did not want to become a statistic. Then I decided, I'm young enough. There has to be a better way to make money than the automobile business.
This single-point Cadillac dealership is his only store now. It sells 30 to 35 vehicles a month and has a staff of 23. Now, despite taking General Motors to task many times, De La Fuente says he likes being a GM dealer.
I'm happy to represent General Motors. I love this franchise. And finally, they're making good cars. The Escalade is an unbelievable automobile. But folks, you need to have an allocation system that's fair. We need to know how many vehicles we're going to get in a year. Now, the XTS, beautiful automobile. The CTS, unbelievable automobile. So the answer is, do I think Cadillac's going to make it? Yes. It took them, what I never expected, 30 years, from 1979 to 2010 to come up with a decent automobile.
But he's not impressed with Cadillac's attempt to reinvent itself by moving to the East Coast.
It's been tried. It's been tried by Audi. It's been tried by Volvo. Folks, it's been tried. They're trying to create brand awareness. They need to create product. The dealers need product. Moving to New York ain't gonna do it, folks. You need product.
Now, as for De La Fuente Cadillac, it's now more than 30 years old, and it sits on only 2.5 acres of land. Talks are underway to move to a larger site. Still, De La Fuente sees value in having a unique look.
You cannot keep asking a dealer to spend $2, $3, $4 million on your hypothetical enhancement program. Folks, you want an image. You want to turn everything into Starbucks. You want to turn anything into McDonald's. Folks, we live in individual communities. This building is one of the most beautiful buildings in El Cajon. You cannot just go in certain communities like Carlsbad and just do your cookie cutter approach, folks.
From Main Street, El Cajon, Leslie Allen, Automotive News TV.